Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Salatu salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we begin the class, anyone first timer here? I think this is a new Muslims class. This is the first level, so there's a level 1 and there's a level 2 after this, which will start at about 12 something. Right, the class normally starts, the level 1 normally starts at 11. Today we are a bit late. I noticed that we are using a new syllabus. We used to use a different website called newmuslims.com, right? So today we are using a different website. As you can see, I'm not a normal speaker. I'm a sit-in speaker. So normally this class is conducted by Ustaz Husseini himself. Right? And level 2 is conducted by Ustaz Sharif. Right? So today, I think Ustaz Sharif is not around, so I will be the level 1 speaker. My name is Brother Adam Vu. I'm also a revert. I became Muslim, alhamdulillah, 13 years ago. 13. So no more new Muslims. It expired, new Muslim. I became Muslim here as well. So, alhamdulillah, the students of Ustaz Husseini. Anyone came last week's class? Anyone? Last week? Anyone attended last week's class? No? Oh, okay. The class before that. What did we talk about the class before that? I was told the last class will start talk about the 7 conditions of Shahada. Is that correct? Okay, for those who came last class, maybe we do a quick revision before we start the new session, shall we? So for the benefit of those who were absent last class as well. Right? So the floor is yours. Those who came. Okay, give me one condition. There were 7 conditions of the Shahada, right? So okay, let me start first, right? When we declare the Shahada, someone declared the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, or La ilaha illallah, basically, La ilaha illallah, there are 7 conditions. The scholars, right, detail 7 conditions to the Shahada. And this is a good conditions for Muslims, for us, especially new Muslims, to always check whether we are still in the fold of Islam. Because if we do not fulfill one of the conditions, then our Shahada is in danger, right? When the Shahada is in danger, it means we could fall out of Islam, right? So there are 7 conditions of La ilaha illallah. So give me one. Anyone? Those just now, who raised hand just now? Came to the class? Sorry? Al-Yaqin. Very good. Al-Yaqin is an Arabic word. So for those who do not know Arabic, so Al-Yaqin is, what does it mean in English? Or in Bahasa also can. Also it means Yaqin, right? So in English means what? Certainty. Very good. You came for the class. Okay, very good. Certainty, right? So we must be certain about La ilaha illallah. Means what? We must be certain that there is no other God worthy to be worshipped except Allah. We must be certain. Very good. It's a good start. Second condition. Al-Ikhlas. What does it mean, Al-Ikhlas? Also, in Bahasa Malaysia, also Ikhlas. Sincere, right? Sincere. We must be sincere. Must be sincere. In fact, the sincerity is very important. When we declare La ilaha illallah, we must be sincere. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means we are not being forced. Right? It means even when we are alone, we will still worship Allah. Give one example. In the month of Ramadan, you are fasting. You are home alone. Nobody knows you are fasting. You could have, bring a cup of water. But no, you are sincere. Right? You're sincere. So you don't break your fast. You still worship Allah. Because you know fasting is prescribed by Allah to the Muslims. Very good. Number 3. Truthfulness. Truthfulness, yes. In Arabic? In Arabic? Anyone? Sidqa. Right? Truthful. You must be truthful to yourself. When you declare La ilaha illallah, you must be true to yourself that what you're saying is correct. Because there are people who just declare La ilaha illallah, but they are not true to themselves. Means what? They don't really believe it. And Allah mentions in the Quran, there are people who declare La ilaha illallah, but they don't believe in it. They don't. Right? So you must be truthful. And these are the people we call the munafiq. Munafiqun, the hypocrites who declare shahada, but they don't believe in it. So the true believer, Allah says in the Quran, that the true believers, when they utter La ilaha illallah, they are truthful. How many already? 4, 3. Yeah. Yaqeen, ikhlas, truth, truthful. What else? Sorry? I hear something. Submission, very good. In Arabic, the Ustad didn't give the Arabic one. Sorry? Sorry? You don't know how to read. Al-Qubul, right? So you must submit or accept. Submit is inqiyad, right? Inqiyad, submission, right? So literally, actually, becoming Muslims, taslim, is to submit yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does it mean? It means you fully submit to whatever Allah has asked us to do, command us to do, and also to stay away from His prohibition. Right? Submission. We submit to La ilaha illallah. Next. What's next? Acceptance, right? Qubul. This is when we accept. So we accept La ilaha illallah. We accept that there is no other God worthy to be worshipped except Allah. So we accept this fact. This is a fact. And the last one, right? The last one is love. Love of love. Is the most difficult. La ilaha illallah. Why? Because yes, we claim we love Allah. We claim we love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when we are tested, we may not be able to really do it. Right? When we lost a job, tough, right? when our children die, tough. Right? Test. This is a real test of our love of Allah to Allah. But it's not easy. Many people can say, I love Allah. It's a lip service, right? We can say. But when we are truly tested, it's not easy. So this is the last condition, and which is the most difficult part, right? So it's a good quick revision. So for those who have absent, so I'm sure, I hope you have jotted down the 7 conditions, because these 7 conditions will be asked again. So for those who attended my class, normally I start with Kahoot test, right? But today I didn't prepare. So now let's start with these new lessons. The testimony of faith, the meaning and the requirements. Okay. So this is the new lesson. Basically, it's a basic lessons. Right? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. In translation, it means I bear witness that there is no God worthy to be worshipped except Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So whoever utter this statement, fulfilling the 7 conditions we just talked about, he automatically become Muslims. That's it. There is no money to be paid, there's no fees, there's no nothing. Just these 2 kalima shahada, fulfilling the 7 conditions, you become Muslims immediately. Simple as that. So today we're going to discuss what is it about? What does this testimony of faith all about? Right? Why the statement of La ilaha illallah? Because it is the first duty of a Muslims. Therefore, whoever intends to accept Islam must make such a declarations of faith and believe in it. So yes, La ilaha illallah is the essence of Islam. So whoever wants to worship Allah, that's the first thing he or she is instructed to utter the statement. You have to utter the statement. You have to say it out. To say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. What if someone didn't say it? Why is it so important to say it? Can someone say, I believe in it in my heart? That's it. I'm sure some not yet Muslim here will say, if I believe in my heart, isn't that already sufficient? Why must I say it? Anyone? Anyone has any answer? Why must I say it? Why can't I just believe in my heart? Is it really important to say it? Well, it is important. For who? For us. It will become an evidence in the day of judgment to strengthen our case. So this is the least that we can do for us when we say we believe. We must say it out. It's not difficult. You don't have to pay for it. Just say it. So this is the first thing commanded by Allah. If you say you are a believer, you say it. Right? You say it. You don't just claim you believe in the heart. Similarly, when you want to get married, you want to marry the woman of your dream, you tell the woman, I love you in the heart. Love you, man. In the heart only. Say it. In the heart. Say I do. In the heart. She won't believe you. You have to say I do. So yeah, that's the least you can do, right? To declare with your tongue, to say, I believe. So that's the first. Then the second, because whoever says it, sincerely believing in it and seeking thereby Allah's pleasure, will be saved from hellfire. As the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has forbidden for the hellfire anyone who says, there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, seeking thereby Allah's pleasure. This is in Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 4135. Before I explain this statement, anyone who knows what is Sahih Bukhari? Anyone who knows? Please raise your hand. Anyone? Nobody knows what is Sahih Bukhari. You know, mashallah. Sahih Bukhari is books of collections of all the hadith. Hadith is the saying of the Prophet, or the actions of the Prophet, or the tacit approval of the Prophet ﷺ, or the descriptions of the Prophet. So it's the collections of hadith by Imam Bukhari. Bukhari is a person. His name is Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. Okay, so he's an imam. So he collect all the hadith. Sahih means all the authentic hadith, which is already verified is authentic. Right? So he collect into a book, and the book is named Sahih Bukhari. The reason I want to explain to you is because when you go through this lesson, you will see a lot of these kind of things. They'll put a bracket and say something, all right? So yes, the second point is, whoever say it, the Prophet ﷺ said, will enter paradise. Enter paradise. Man qala la ilaha illallah taqala jannah. So whoever say la ilaha illallah, he will enter paradise. Does it mean just say it just for fun? No, again, fulfilling the 7 conditions. Right, believing in it. Here, he mentioned it, believing in it, and seeking Allah's pleasure. Meaning what? Seeking Allah's pleasure means you have to be sincere. We talked about the condition just now. One of them is to be sincere, ikhlas. You only seek Allah's pleasure. You're doing it for the sake of Allah. You're not doing it for worldly deeds. Right? There are people who say shahada because of worldly deeds. They want to get a government contract, for example. They know Muslims stands a high possibility to get contract. So they become Muslims. So this one we are talking about for the sake of Allah. Right? Sincerely for Allah. Next one. Because whoever dies while believing in it will be admitted into paradise. As the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever dies knowing full well that there is no God but Allah will enter paradise. This one is in Musnad Ahmad, Hadith 464. Musnad Ahmad is another book called Musnad, collected by Imam Ahmad, also a book of Hadith. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever dies knowing full well. So this is the conditions of what? Al-ilm, knowledge. Right? We talk about the 7 conditions just now. One of them is ilm, knowledge. So you must know what you're talking about. So the shahada, if you know what you are saying, truly understanding it, and then you die upon it, you will enter paradise. And the last one is because knowledge of its meaning and dictates is unquestionable the greatest and most important duty of a Muslim. So again, yes, La ilaha illallah is the essence of Islam. That we do not worship any other God except Allah. We only dedicated ourselves, our whole life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His command and His stay away from His prohibition. Right? Worshipping Allah. So we're going to discuss this in details. The meaning of La ilaha illallah. This means no one is worthy of worship except Allah. In fact, this statement negates the existence of any other deity besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and confirms that Allah is the only true God worthy of being worshipped. Peace and tranquility can only be attained by worshipping Allah alone without associating any partners with Him in worship. So, La ilaha illallah, it means we worship Allah only and negates anything else. La ilaha illallah. So worship doesn't mean just praying 5 times a day. So worship in Islam, it's a broad meaning. Ibadah in Islam doesn't really just means praying 5 times a day, or fasting in the month of Ramadan, or paying your zakah, or going for Umrah or Hajj. Yes, these are all worships, acts of worships. These are the former rituals, acts of worships. But worshipping Allah entails more than that. Even giving a smile to your brother, it's a form of worship. Making people happy is also a form of worship. Treating your neighbor well is also a form of worship. Treating your parents well is also a form of worship. Even picking up an obstacle in the middle of the road, which can endanger passerby, is a form of worship. So, worshipping Allah is a lifetime duty, but it entails more than just the 5 pillars of Islam. Right? So, we give ourselves 100%. We follow whatever Allah commands us to do, and we do not ascribe partners with Him. So, even in the small acts of worship, is a worship to Allah. Also, stay away from shirk. Shirk means associating partners with Allah. For example, reading the horoscope and say, "Oh, I'm Scorpion. I'm Scorpio, so I want to see what it says today." Believing in that is shirk. So we Muslims do not do that. We stay away from that. Right? Celebrating Christmas, I want to say about this, because it's Christmas time, right? We stay away from that. We are Muslims. We don't worship, we don't celebrate Christmas. Oh, but what about, we live in a yeah, but that's a different story, right? That doesn't mean you have to celebrate the celebrations of other people's religion. Oh, but we respect each other. Yes, we respect each other's religion by allowing them do whatever they want to do with their religion. We do in our religion. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. This is the greatest form of respects. You have your way, we have our way. Allah says so in the Quran. So this is also forms of worship. What else? Believing in feng shui, for example. We Muslims don't do that. I want to say feng shui because I'm Chinese. Right? Feng shui. Have you heard of feng shui before? Right. Superstitious things, right? Or if you touch wood, we don't do that. This is all staying away from ascribing partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We worship Allah in the way that He wants us to worship Him, taught by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And staying away from other forms of worship, acts of worships. So all these are the form of La ilaha illallah, meaning there is no other God except Allah. The Arabic word ilah, or God, small g, refers to any being that is worshipped. Thus, whoever worships something has in fact taken it as a God, besides or instead of Allah. All such deities are indeed false except for one God, Allah, the true Lord and Creator. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone deserves to be worshipped. It is He alone whom human hearts must worship with utmost love, glorification, humility, and fear, and He alone should be relied upon and invoked. Yes, so if you need help, call upon Allah. You don't need third party. You don't need an agent. You don't say, "Oh, okay, I don't really worship these idols, but he is, my agent." My agent. It's like, when you want to see the Prime Minister, you cannot see him directly. You have to go through an agent. right? His secretary. No, we don't do that. Allah doesn't have agents. You need, you call him directly. Call him. Ya Allah. In your own language. Allah doesn't just speak Arabic. He speaks all languages. So you don't have to worry. He knows, he understands. Speaks lah in Chinese, in Cantonese, in Bahasa Malaysia, in English, whatever, speaks. You need help, call him directly. He listens and he answers. He is the only one answers prayers, no one else. Right? So, negating any other God. Oh, but what about people who do not have religion? Oh, they don't worship other God, what? No. Everyone is created with the fitra. Fitra means like a natural disposition to worship something. We have to worship something. Human being is created to worship. Do you believe? Do you agree with this statement? We are created to worship something. But what about people who do not have a religion? He himself is the religion. He worship himself. Yeah. Because religion means what? Means the do's and the don'ts. It's not just there is a God, but the do's and the don'ts. Right? What is allowed and what is prohibited. So, when you don't follow a religion, you follow your own rules, right? You are your own religion. So everyone, no one can live in this world and say, do whatever you want to do. In fact, saying do whatever you want to do, it is a religion because that is the law. Your own law. You say do whatever you want. As long as it makes you happy, just do it. This is your religion. So everyone is born to worship something. So this is what when we say La ilaha illallah, we negate everything. The true believer, the true Muslims will go against his own desire. Even if you feel like, I want to do this, but Allah says, no, you don't do it. You see? This is what it means, La ilaha illallah. You worship only Allah. You negate even your own desires. You don't let your desire overtake you. Otherwise, you worship your own self. You worship your desires. You feel hungry, you eat. You feel like having sex, you do whatever you want to do, even raping people, right? So this is the ultimate meaning of La ilaha illallah. Whoever can practice La ilaha illallah, this is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ said. You will enter paradise. And because Allah is the creator, He created us, He knows what's best for us. We understand whatever He asks us to do is good for us, not for Him. Even when He told us to pray 5 times a day, He told us in the Quran, establishing your salah would help you to stay away from evil acts. He told us that. It's not for Him. Worshipping Allah is not for Him. He will not be greater if more people worship Him and then He become greater. Or lesser people worship Him, He become weaker. No. Allah is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. He's already the greatest. He can never be greater or He cannot be less greater. Whether we worship Him or not, it's for us. He tells us worshipping Him is for us. He asks us to fast in the month of Ramadan. Again, it's for us. Allah mentions in the Quran, fasting will make you righteous, achieving taqwa. Taqwa means righteousness or conscious of knowing Allah. Allah mentions in the Quran, prescribes fasting unto you so that you become righteous. Again, for us. Stay away from zina. It's for us. For us, not for him. Stay away from killing people. Stay away from eating interest from the bank. All this is for us, not for him. He says, stay away from eating riba. Riba is interest. It's for him, for us, not for him. Stay away from backbiting. Don't talk bad things about your friends. Again, for us, not for him. All the prohibitions is for us. All the commands he asks us to do, again, for us. Nothing for him. So if we truly believe that Allah is our creator and whatever he asks us to do is good for us, and whatever he prohibits us from and it's good for us, we should stay away from, then La ilaha illallah, worshipping Allah. Truly worship Allah. No one should be called upon, sought for help, or rely upon except Allah. Prayers and sacrifices must be offered to him alone, and he ought to be worshipped in all sincerity, as the Quran states. They were only ordered to worship Allah, keeping religious pure for him. This is in Surah Bayyinah, Surah 95, verse number 5. For those who are new, what you can do is actually you can download an apps, a Quran apps. Okay, you can download Quran apps. So every time when we go through something like this, you can actually go to your apps and look for chapters 98 and verse number 5. Right? If you are not comfortable reading English, you can look for Chinese or Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Indonesia, Tagalog, whatever, Japanese. So yes, Allah mentioned in the Quran that they means us, human being, ordered to worship Allah, keeping religion pure for him, right? So we should worship him, and keeping the religion pure means what? Don't change the law. Don't corrupt the religion, right? There are other people before us change their book to suit the law for the high class society, right? Double standard. But the law of Allah is for everyone. No one is above the law, right? So keeping the religion pure. Those who sincerely worship Allah following the dictates of the testimony of faith will certainly lead a happy life. For it is only by worshipping Allah alone that hearts finds peace and real satisfaction. As the Quran states, whoever does good, whether male or female, and he is a believer, we will most certainly make him live a happy life. Surah An-Nahl, the surah of B, surah number 16, verse 97. Allah promised us, whoever follow his religion, he will give you a happy life. And Allah promise is never broken. He will always fulfill his promises. True enough, if you read the Quran or even read the history, the people who follow the religion, especially the life of the prophets, all the prophets, they live happy life, right? Tranquility, peace in their heart. They are not influenced by others because they know they are following the straight path, the true religion. The two main parts of La ilaha illallah, this greatest statement comprises two parts, which must be known in order to understand its meaning and requirement. The first part, La ilaha, there is no God. So the first part means there is no God. Negates the existence of any other deity besides Allah. I reject associations of prophets, of partners with Allah in worship, and requires disbelief in any being or thing that is worshipped besides Allah, be it a human being, an animal, an idol, a star, or anything. Yeah, so the first part, like I mentioned just now, La ilaha, it means you negate everything, including your own desires. You negate everything. Star, tree, you know, people used to worship the tree. People worship the sun, used to worship the star. Some people even worship the prophets, the saints, right? Even Prophet Muhammad is worshipped today. There are people who worship Prophet Muhammad. We Muslims, we don't worship Muhammad, even though we follow his way, we follow his sunnah, his way, but we don't worship him because he instructed us to worship Allah, and he himself also worship Allah. All the prophets, we believe in them, but we don't worship them. Good people, righteous people, best human being ever walk on earth, but we don't worship them. We worship Allah. The second part, illallah, except Allah, confirms that Allah is the only true God worthy of being worshipped, and thus all acts of worship, such as the prayer, invocation, and reliance, must be directed to Him alone. So yes, all dua, all prayers must only direct to Him. You don't worship something else. You don't ask a dead people, go to the graveyard and say, come help me, write what you want and then put it in the graveyard. You don't do that. There are people who do that. There are people who do that, right? The Chinese not used to still today, worship their ancestors, right? Worship the forefathers. Still do that. Oh, please, protect us. They are dead. How can they protect you? Right? We still do that. The Chinese still do that. Not just the Chinese, many people today still worship ancestors, right? So we don't do that. Muslims direct prayers, invocation, everything directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything directly. Direct flight, no transit. Okay? All acts of worship must be directed to Allah alone. Whoever directs any act of worship to other than Allah is, strictly speaking, an unbeliever. Yeah, whoever does that, this is what we call major shirk. Major associations of partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a major sin. It can bring you out of the fold of Islam immediately. Just like when you can come into Islam with the two kalima shahada, you can also go out the religion with a simple act. Of course, you must be truly worshipping the guy. Right? The Quran says, whoever calls on another God together with Allah has no proof for doing so at all, and his reckoning is with his Lord. Truly, the unbelievers have no success. Allah warned us in Surah Al-Mu'minun, the chapters of believers, chapters of 23, verse 117. Allah warned us that whoever calls upon anyone other than Allah, then he has truly disbelieved. And the disbeliever have no success. Any time if you read no success or failure in the Quran, it means hellfire. Because that is the only failure. And every time when you read the word success, it means paradise. Because that's the real success. So Allah warned us. This is a very stern warning in Surah Al-Mu'minun. The significance of La ilaha illallah along with its two main parts are mentioned in the following verse. Whoever rejects false gods and believes in Allah has grasped the firmest handhold which will never give away. But Allah give us the glad tidings as well. In Surah number 2, Surah Baqarah. Baqarah means the cow. Verse 256. The glad tidings is, whoever worship Allah alone, then he will achieve success. So that is also the glad tidings. The words whoever rejects false gods provides the meaning of the first parts of the testimony of faith, namely La ilaha, while the words and believes in Allah provides the meaning of his second part, namely illallah. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, in this ayat itself, it contains the word La ilaha illallah. First, you have to negate, and then you accept and believe in Allah. Okay, so we have finished the first part, which is Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah. I bear witness there is no other God worthy to be worshipped except Allah. The second part, inshallah, we'll do it next week. Before I end, any questions? Any questions? Any not yet Muslim? One. When are you going to become Muslim? Soon, inshallah. Yes, question, sister. Not Muslim yet? Why? Very good. Ask now. Why are you laughing? Where, sorry? Where is the Quran come from? Okay, very good. The Quran was revealed through angel Jibril. Jibril is, in English they call Gabriel, the archangels, to the last prophet, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it was revealed to him in the span of 23 years. So slowly, verse by verse. Sometimes few verses came down to him. Sometimes a whole surah came down. Sometimes only one verse. So 23 years, in the span of 23 years, not written. It came down in the form of verbal, right? In the very beginning, the first few ayat or verses revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, when he was at the age of 40. And this is the time when he was appointed as the prophet. So when the verse came down to him, he was appointed as a prophet. So before that, he didn't know he would become a prophet. So when angel Gabriel came down and revealed the verses to him, so he became the prophet. So the very first few ayat came down was Iqra bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaqa. So these are the few verses came down, a few verses, about 7 verses came down. And then after that, a few other surah came down in the span of 23 years. The whole Quran, 6,236 verses, finally revealed to him and completely revealed to him at the age of 63 years old. Yeah. So, and then after that, the Quran was actually being jotted down in the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ, during his lifetime. When it was revealed, it was not revealed in that form, meaning in that sequence. Like now, when you open the Quran, you will see chapter 1, chapter 2, right? Chapter 3, until chapter 114. It was revealed not in that sequence, but it was arranged in the final year of the Prophet ﷺ, when during his final year. In fact, every year of his life, during the month of Ramadan, angel Jibril would came down in the last 10 nights of Ramadan and do arrangement for him. So like, for example, the first year has revealed only a few verses, right? So angel Jibril will tell him, these few verses is in chapter this, and this. These verses. So until the last year of his life, angel Jibril would arrange the whole Quran in the manner that we see today. Okay? And he would recite with him twice. So every Ramadan, it was recited once, but in his final year, recited twice to him. Meaning the Prophet ﷺ would recite the Quran to him, and he would make sure it is correct. So the Quran eventually was compiled, right, in the memory, of course, but it was also compiled and jotted down in, like, those days they don't have paper. Right? The paper exists, but very expensive to buy papers. So what they do is the companions, Rasulullah, he would appoint some of the companions, the Sahaba, to those who know how to write down in the, like, big animal skin or the bone of the animal, like you know the cow, the shoulder bone is very big, right? So they would jot it down on that kind of things. Yeah. So it was actually compiled in the time of the Prophet Sallallahu. So as he passed away, this is a long story. As he passed away, after the Prophet Sallallahu passed away, Abu Bakr Siddiq became the Khalifa, the first leader of the Muslim. Right? During his time, a lot of people who have memorized the Quran have passed away because of a war. Right? So Umar al-Khattab, Umar is another companion. He went to see Abu Bakr. He said, why don't we write the Quran down in a form of book? Right? Why don't we write it down? Right? So long story cut short, and then Abu Bakr as-Siddiq agreed to that project, a very, difficult project. So he appointed two of them, Omar and Abu Bakr. He appointed another companions to do this project, to compile the Quran. Zayd ibn Thabit was appointed as the project manager to do this project. So Zayd, why Zayd? Because when on the last year of the Prophet ﷺ, when the angel Jibril came in the month of Ramadan to review the Quran with him, Zayd was actually with the Prophet ﷺ. So he witnessed the last so-called revelations and the compilations, right? So he himself also have a copy of the Quran, right? So he asked him to, why don't compile it into a book form? So he completed the job, alhamdulillah. It's actually a very, very long story. So, okay, let me cut this short. So basically he said, I would write down one ayat if I can find two witnesses. He has his book, but he's not going to copy his book. You understand? He has the Quran with him, but he's not going to use his Quran. So he said, I will only write, let's say for example, the first ayat, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will only write the first one if I can collect two witnesses from among the Sahaba who witnessed the revelations. You understand? This is his requirement. He keep a very strict requirement. So he did so all the ayat was compiled with two witnesses, except one last ayat in Surah number 9, Surah Tawbah. The last ayat of Surah Tawbah, he could only find one person, one companion who have witnessed the revelations of the ayat. He couldn't find another person. And that person is Abu Khuzaimah. So he went to Abu Khuzaimah, he said, I can only find you. I cannot find another person. Abu Khuzaimah said, what is your problem? So I'm the only one. He said, no, but I have a very strict requirement. I need two witnesses. Then Abu Khuzaimah said, there you go. I, one person, equivalent to two witnesses. He said, how can you do that? You are one person. You are not equivalent to two. He said, no, let me explain to you. He said, one day, this is an incident. One day, I was with the Prophet ﷺ walking around, and then there's one Jew came to him, grabbed his shirt, and said, hey, you borrow money from me, but you never pay me back. To who? To the Prophet, okay? So Abu Khuzaimah was looking at the Prophet. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, I pay you back. And then the guy said, if you can bring me one witnesses, then I will believe in you. Then the Prophet said, well, I couldn't find anyone to witness this. Then Abu Khuzaimah stepped out and said, I bear witness that he had paid you. Then the Jew says, okay, fine, I'll let you go. You have one witness. And then the Prophet turned to Abu Khuzaimah and said, hey, why did you do that? You didn't see me pay him back. Why did you testify that I pay him back? He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I testify that you are the Prophet of Allah, what is this? I can testify anything. I know when you say you pay him back, I believe in you. So I testify that you are paying back. And then the Prophet said, indeed, you, Abu Khuzaimah, one person equivalent to two witnesses. And then he mentioned this to Zayd. And Zayd said, there you go, my project completed. You, Abu Khuzaimah, one person equivalent to two witnesses. So he completed the writing of the Quran. So the Quran was compiled in the book. Today, alhamdulillah, the book reached us in that manner. So whatever you're reading now, it is compiled in that manner. You want to say your Shahada? Are you ready to say Shahada? Any other questions? So the Quran, without doubt, when you read it, seriously, without doubt. Who would have thought that Abu Huzaimah, his incident, would have become so crucial in that manner, right? In that incident. So the Quran is 100% preserved, and it has reached us in that manner, in a miraculous way. Every time when you read the Quran, know that the Quran is not a fake book. It is a true revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single huruf is preserved. Even alif lam mim. 3-letter word alif lam mim, the first verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, nobody knows the meaning, but it is preserved. Alhamdulillah. Thank Allah that we are given these blessings. This is a rahmat from Allah. Seriously, this is a blessings and a mercy from Allah, that Allah has guided us to Islam. That Allah has guided us to see the truth. We should feel sad to see when we see people who are not in the true path. Call them to Islam, seriously. Walk out today. When you see someone who is not worshipping Allah, you should feel sad. If you don't feel sad, something wrong with your heart. Check your heart. Go get a doctor and check your heart. Something wrong with you. When you understand that worshipping Allah is the only thing that Allah has guided you to see this truth, thank Allah, really. There is no greatest ni'mah or blessings. Allah could have left us in the darkness and worship idols and worship stars and sun. But no, Allah guided us to Islam. So use this blessing from Allah and this mercy from Allah to call others to Islam. Can or not? Are you ready to say Shah? Any other questions? Still 15. I have overshot. Boys, always smartest, no question. No? Okay, so we end the class. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.